The object of this session is to look at the benefits of belonging or being part of an association. And this can be an industry association like MPI, ICA, SITE, all these organizations, and most of these are individual members, and you belong to them for all the sorts of different reasons, which I'm sure our panelists will cover. And then there's the other ones, like Best Cities, that you belong to as a company to exchange information, to exchange data, and really benefit from that, to gain the business. So there are really two types of associations, one for your own personal improvement and benefit, and the other organizational industry associations that will benefit that company, be it an exhibition company, a hotel company, or a conference venue. So there are lots and lots of opportunities, and I welcome my three panelists here who come from different disciplines within our industry, and they will explain their particular involvement in this. I have found, I belong to ICA, which is based in Amsterdam, and that's the International Congress and Convention Association, which was a company belonging to that association. And that was, it's now over 1,000 companies around the world, all meeting and exchanging information. Before that, I was based in Paris as part of the International Hotel Association. And that had all the different hotels around the world all joining for that same reason. It's sometimes very difficult to belong to an association. Why? Because you're very busy. Why? Because sometimes it costs money to belong to that association. And as an individual, you look after your money, and you don't want to spend money unless you can see that good return on your personal investment. And that's a very different thing from a company investing money, but they equally want to see that return on the investment. So now we're going to listen to the three panelists and learn from them why they have joined the associations, whatever they may be, and why they benefit from them in terms of not only their own personal development, but also their company's development, and seeing that important ROI, that return on investment. So I think what we'll do is, I don't know who's up on the screen first, because there have been one or two changes. Would you like to start? I'm sorry, each person has about 9 minutes to present, and then I will open up the floor to questions and answers for you, each in turn.
Hi everyone, I'm representing Lubelskie Centrum Konferencyjne, Lublin Conference Center. As Tom has mentioned, here we are to talk about association. As LCK, we are not yet a member of any association. However, we are in the progress of joining ICA. And I'm sure that all of you know what that actually brings. However, last year, together with my fellow colleagues from ICE Krakow and Copernicus Conference Center, we've been talking about finding a platform for cooperation. And we all said that actually what we were looking for is to basically bring a new quality in the customer service. And therefore, we've signed a letter of intent on September 2016, basically saying that within the following months we would like to set up a new association, or actually it's more of an alliance, of 3 conference venues where the basis for our operation would be a business information exchange. We've had some consultations with national PCOs, and they all said that this is actually something they are looking to cooperate with. So basically, we still have, this is still a work in progress. We are working on the document, but what we would like to achieve is what a similar alliance in Germany have achieved. I'm talking about 7 centers. What differentiates us from 7 centers is basically the fact that we would like to direct our alliance towards medium-sized conference centers, as opposed to 7 Centers Alliance, which is directed to the largest convention venues in Germany. As I said, the basis for our operation will be business information exchange, where we would like to recommend our member venues to our clients. The way it works, because we kind of have some success already, where we have recommended one client to a fellow member, and it resulted in a different venue, a different event from the same client to take part, I think, this year. Basically, I think that would be it.
Thank you very much. Now that gives a little insight into why, from a conference center's point of view. Before I have a couple of questions, anybody in the audience would like to make a comment or a question on that little presentation there? Anybody at all? Quite difficult to see. It'll come. Wojtek, yes, please. Do we have a...
Magda, I'd like to understand, if possible, how deeply your cooperation is going to happen. Meaning, how far is the integration going between the activity plans of marketing activity plans of the 3 centers? Because, as I understand, the connectivity between them is on a marketing side and on a sales side. So what is the percentage, or how do you divide or differentiate the activities you will be running individually as every single conference center, and in respect to or in regards to what you will be doing jointly?
Mm-hmm. In terms of marketing activities, it's a bit difficult at the moment, since we are both the 3 of us are budgetary institutions, so it's a bit difficult to have conjoint marketing activities. However, what we are planning to do for the following year is simply to participate in as many exhibition and meetings, industry, trade shows as possible, where we would communicate that we have formed an alliance and would try to exhibit next to each other. Mm-hmm. In terms of business information exchange, we've created an event form, or actually a customer form, which includes all the necessary information about the customer and about the client. And of course, if the client agrees, we then give this information to our fellow member. In this way, they are prepared, let's just say, they are prepared for the event as best as possible, so the offer is actually tailor-made.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. One of the interesting things in any of these alliances is this whole question of competition. It's a very competitive industry, as many industries. So I'd like to ask, you have this three-way alliance here in Poland. You're talking about Germany. Are you prepared to share your business with a German convention center?
I actually expected something else. That you will ask whether I'm prepared to share the information with my fellow members.
Yes.
Because this is what we've been all asking each other, whether we are ready to share the information. But just to give you an example, if we get a client, for example, an European Association of Cardiology, we are all different in terms of size. ICE Krakow is for up to 3,000, a venue that could host up to 3,000 participants. Lublin Conference Center can host up to 1,000 participants. So the way we would approach the client would be, for example, I get an event of one section, but I would try to research the association so as to look for the possible events that could go to my fellow members. Okay. So that would be the way. And I think that definitely will be profitable to everyone involved.
Right. Are you thinking of belonging? You mentioned ICA. Will you belong, or do you belong to ICA?
We are in the process of applying for the membership. It takes time, but hopefully it will happen this year.
And so I could ask, what do you think you will gain from belonging to an association like ICA?
Well, definitely a list of clients, potential clients, contacts, and definitely exchange of knowledge.
Right. Because I think, again, this might be mentioned, but any of these association congresses like ICA, SITE, or MPI, one of the big advantages is going to these congresses and really networking with your fellow peers on that same level. And there are lots of different levels at these meetings, from CEOs down to junior salespeople, but they all find their level, and that's really enormously beneficial for that, to attend these things. Any questions more before I move on to Sarah? Anybody else at all? Thank you very much. We'll come back to Sarah is from Expo in Krakow, but possibly you could introduce yourself in more detail.
Okay, so my name is Sara Lamik. I represent Expo Krakow, and I guess that I will start from the basic perspective, speaking on behalf of the Polish Chamber of the Trade Industry. Polska Izba Przemysłu Targowego just invented this translation into English, so in any case I prefer to say this in Polish. Because this is something obvious, but on the other hand I would like to say that me personally, I have a long history of being associated in many associations. As you see, I have this bright shining golden MPI sign because I'm a VP Education of the MPI Poland chapter in my, say, personal career. Also, our company strongly believes in being associated. We are also a UFI member, UFI, and ICA member as well. So we are kind of a company who benefits a lot from being associated. Starting with the trade perspective, which is the obvious one, Polish Chamber of Trade Industry is a form of the association which combines all the most important players in this market in Poland. So these are trade show venues, trade show organizers, and all sort of companies which support organization of this kind of events, this part of the meetings industry, so to speak. What are the main objectives of this association? First of all, I would say credibility. All the main organizers who are associated in the Polish Chamber of Trade Industry. They do, so to speak, voluntarily, from their own will. They go through very tough audit each year, and they are very credible companies. Secondly, lobbying. Polish Chamber of Trade Industry is fighting for the regulations which are in favor of what we do. For instance, the recent example is that our government is strongly analyzing possibility of banning sales on weekends, and we are fighting to have this regulation excluding the trade shows, because it would be a catastrophe for our industry. What else? Of course, business exchange as well, because among our members there are clients and there are suppliers, so we also have a business exchange, so all sorts of those stuff works well within this Polish Chamber of Trade Industry.
Okay.
Would you like me to say something more?
Thank you, Sarah. Right, any questions on what Sarah has said? Briefly, anybody? I have 2 questions. So perhaps you would like to think of a question. I didn't quite hear or understand, over the weekend, banning of sales?
Yes, they say.
Can you explain a little more about
of course.
that?
Probably everyone here is aware of what I'm talking about. Our government is analyzing to make a law that will ban sales of things on Sundays, because it's a... Yeah?
Of closing shopping centres and things like that?
Yeah, shopping centres and all sorts of shops.
Okay.
So we are fighting as a chamber that this regulation will exclude the trade shows, because some of the trade shows take place on Sundays, and then if they would ban sales, then it would be a problem.
So that is quite distinct or different from if you had a trade show in one of your venues to actually carry out sales buyer to exhibitor or something like that on a Sunday? Is that allowed?
Well, right now it is all allowed.
Yes.
But if they will make this regulation saying you shouldn't sell or buy on Sunday, then it might affect the industry. So we would like it to be, even if you ban sales of things on Sundays, make it excluding the trade show events. That's the...
And the other question, and then I will turn to the audience once again. You mentioned MPI, ICA, that you're members of.
Yes.
What has been your personal gain, not company gain, personal gain from belonging to those organizations?
Well, definitely, I would focus on MPI in this respect, because MPI is the association where I got mostly involved. And this is this golden rule, so to speak, that in order to have some outcome from being associated, you have to put something in. So I have decided to devote myself, as you know, in MPI, this is all voluntary job, and do as much as I can to develop myself, to create nice conferences and meetings for my fellow members and also other representatives of the meetings industry. I have got a lot of contacts. I have joined many really, really good conferences organized by MPI, so I can see this exchange of knowledge and this, most of all, building the relationships. And it's like sometimes it is tiring to be a voluntary worker, and sometimes you get exhausted. But always when I'm at the point when I think it's just too much for me, something happens which shows me that actually it was worth it. Somebody calls me and he says, I know that you were in MPI and I'm not sure what you do, but I have a client, and something like this happens. So I can also see this just simple business benefit.
Okay. It's interesting to hear what Sarah has benefited from MPI. Anika, let me ask you out in the audience here, who belongs to something like MPI? Hands up, anybody who belongs to MPI. Not very many people. To ICA? One over there. To SITE? There's one lady here. I would like, could I ask you what you have benefited from belonging to a site, is it, an MPI?
Actually, I'm a
Sorry,
new...
who are you?
My name is Marta, and I represent the DMC here in Poland. Actually, I have just recently joined site, so it is something what I'm going to discover, I hope very soon. But I've been a member of MPI Poland chapter for 5 years already, and for the very beginning, for me, it was like, okay, we can meet every quarter, you know, to meet the people, to talk. But I didn't know how to you know, discover those benefits. I thought these are only the meetings. But when one of my colleagues asked me to be more involved, and then I understand after 2 years that if you want to benefit anything, you need to be involved. So I started to develop a little bit more, and also to follow my colleagues who were already the members of MPI. So for me, first of all, is of course, education. Sharing knowledge, sharing experience, networking, and honestly speaking, to be a member of MPI at the very end for me is my business benefits, because my main goal was to be focused on the knowledge which I may gain from MPI.
Thank you very much indeed. Because I've been so closely involved with ICA, can I turn to the lady over there who's a member? I can't see. Anya, can you please tell me what you have gained personally and maybe your company from ICA?
So my company is named Symposium Krakowiense. It's based in Krakow. I have joined ICA in 2004 because of the association data. So this is my business. I organize conferences. That's why I joined this association. And I look for my business in the data of ICA.
Have you actually can you say you have got business through ICA?
Yes, absolutely, yes. Yes.
Can you give me an example?
I look for the local ambassadors, so I have the information about the association, about the bidding, and I look in my country, in my city, the local representatives who can organize the Congress in Poland.
And have you attended ICA congresses?
Yes, regularly.
How many?
So every Congress in Europe, and I was last year also in Asia.
And what did you gain from that, attending those conferences?
Attending the conference, of course, the main gain is the education and networking. So especially last year, the education program was fantastic.
Good. Well, I look forward to seeing you and you in Prague, maybe, at the end of the year.
Yes,
Thank you
absolutely.
very much. Thank you. Right, any questions before I move on to Dr. Christoph? Anybody else up there? Can I then pass to you, Christoph?
Krzysztof Celuch, I'm the head of Poland Convention Bureau, which is part of Polish Tourist Organization, and secondly, I'm the vice rector of Warsaw School of Tourism and Hospitality Management. So this is what I'm doing, and I'm the member of several associations, and I'm sitting here today because of associations. So speaking from the Poland Convention Bureau, we are the members in ICA, International Congress and Convention Association, exactly what Anna and what Tom just mentioned, and also Magdalena. We are the member. This is institutional organization, so because of my function there, I'm the part of this. 3 aspects. So number 1, education. Number 2, contacts and business leads. And number 3, statistics. This is what we are doing, how we cooperate. So the Poland meetings impact was also partly co-created with the ICA headquarters, because ICA is working with Joint Meeting Industry Council. So just yesterday we got the information that GMEC will promote our Poland meetings impact. So definitely contacts, education and business. This is about ICA. A couple of years ago, when Polish Tourist Organization decided to become the member, decided to promote in the North America, we decided to become the member of DMAI, Destination Marketing Association International, the biggest association for convention bureaus in the world and the oldest one. And working with my amazing team, we've been accredited, and we are one of the 3 convention bureaus in Europe which the accreditation by DMAI. What's important about this, the fact that if you're looking for American associations, they are looking for the CVBs with this. Speaking from the personal point of view, I'm the member of MPI and ICA. These are crucial, MPI and SITE, these are crucial for me. Education and network and business about incentive travel, like Marta mentioned, SITE, Society of Incentive Travel Excellence, based with the headquarters in Chicago. And MPI, from my perspective, #1 organization if you are talking about personal development, leadership skills and education. So almost 20,000 full members, almost 60,000 part of the group of MPI, almost 80 chapters, and this is where I've learned a lot of things. So I can speak a lot about associations, but these are the questions. So if you want to know any ideas how to work with them, I'm more than happy to give the feedback.
Thank you. Let me give you some breaking news. Everybody suddenly looks up. Does anybody know, or Chris referred to DMAI. Who's aware of DMAI? Hands up. One person back there, Wojtek, I think. 5, 6. Let me tell you, as of yesterday evening, DMAI is now to be known as Destinations International. Change of name, change of focus, same sort of focus, but a re-emphasizing. So that's the breaking news for those who are interested.
Go.
Right, what I would like to ask, and then I will ask the audience, I don't know whether you knew, but Christoph here, he mentioned MPI, but he's been on the international board of MPI for a number of years, and which in itself is a tremendous achievement. I know that he's applied to become chairman of that, but as yet it hasn't happened, but it probably will. But I want to ask him, in terms of his own professional advancement and what it has meant to him in terms of status, awareness, because often you join an association maybe to contribute more and move up that association, what it has meant for him to do so well in that enormous organization of MPI. Chris.
Just one sentence to you and to all of you that don't know. In fact, we have 3 different people in Poland who have the international position, because starting from ladies, Anna Górska is the chairwoman of Central European chapter for ICA, which is amazing achievement. Piotr Wilczek from Krakow is a deputy president of EFAPCO. And myself, I used to be for 4 years the member of the board of MPI. For me, it opened a lot of doors. I was sitting and being involved in this group of people. Thanks to this activity, I had the chance to start working with the people who help us with the Poland Meetings Impact. Thanks to this, I've been involved in the international awards, and few people from Poland got the international awards because people start talking about Poland. And thanks to this, I opened the mind for a couple of international auditoriums that Poland is the destination for meetings and events. So I use it from the business point of view. From the private point of view, it was unbelievable challenge to speak with the chief sales officer for MGM Hotels or someone from Global Meetings in Convention Industry Council. This was a huge lesson, and I learned a lot, and I try to implement everything I learned to the team with whom I'm working in both institutions, and also to brought something more to Poland.
Thank you, Chris. One important aspect in all these associations is that overused word, the networking, but it really is so important. And just a slight sort of lighter remark is, my wife says to me, when I retire, where you haven't got any friends here because you're always abroad. And I say, I can go to any city in the world and call up and have a coffee. And those are my friends around the world. And these are the people that I've met through through the associations, and these are the people that you do business with. Because how much easier it is to talk to people that you've known and have a coffee with and say, now, will you place your business with me? And that's important. Can I ask anybody if they have a question out there for my panelists? I think, Wojtek, are we all right for time now? I'm not sure.
Just, Tom, just one comment. Can we ask,
Please.
7 minutes, can I ask you, who is the member of any association? I'm not talking about industry association, I'm talking of any. Who is the member of anything? Can you show the hands? You see, it's, if you are going to ask this question in, for example, United States, every single person is a member of something. So as a guest from abroad, it's really important to understand that we don't have a tradition of being member of part of the organization, at least my age and younger than me, because before it was different. So this is really difficult in Poland to show the ROI and added value of being the member of the association, because I only mention business associations, but some of the people here are also the member of private association, climbing association, cycling association, and or left, my favorite is the American Association of Left-Handed Trumpet Players. Yes, and they have the Congress for 12,000 people. Yeah, Barbie doll collectors, they have the association meeting for 20,000 people. Yeah, people are doing crazy things. So my advice to all of the Polish friends and all of the Polish community, if you don't like the industry association, by the way, in Poland we have 8 industry association that you can be member or part of. 9 is opened 2 weeks ago. So this is, quite challenging for us to change the perception in the mind, but as you can see, industry people are open.
Thank you. I'm glad you've said. I'm glad you said that, because I was about to say those private clubs, associations at home to which you belong, from the golf to the tennis to whatever. You put a lot of time into that, but think, most of your time actually is spent in the workplace. So why not join that association to get benefits for you? Now, I would like to end, if I may, we've got a couple of minutes. I'm just going to ask each panelist in one sentence to say what really is the top benefit, personally or commercially, that they have gained from belonging to an association, in the hope that that will inspire you to join an association.
Personally or?
Whatever.
Well, I would say that on the business side, I would mention this credibility. This is something which I find important. that you are someone who wants to be recognized, who thinks seriously about the business they are doing, and they're treating this long term. On the private side, it was a lot of fun, a lot of hard work, and I believe it was a big development for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Professionally and privately, contacts.
That says it in a nutshell, as we say, contacts. Perfect. Chris.
Career, I think. I'm sitting where I'm sitting because I'm the member of the association, and yeah, career. If you want to be successful, you should become the member part of bigger family. Climbing or meetings industry, I don't care, but it helps.
There we are. Thank you all very much. I'd like to give a big round of applause for my panelists. Thank you very much indeed.